Hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Sagittarius in September 2020. What is going on, Sagittarius? How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. Okay, guys, welcome to September. Hopefully, wherever you are in the world, Sagittarius, you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time. Still a global pandemic, so please continue to take very good care of yourselves and each other at this time. And let's ride this year out, guys. Let's see what's going to happen. What's up? What's up with 2021? I think many of us are already looking forward to that time. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Sagittarius, anything you want from me is already down in the description box. So if you're looking for the timestamp, it is down there. Information on how to purchase a personal reading, that is also down there. If you have a question before you place an order for a personal reading, just go ahead and email me at the same address, and I will answer you as soon as I can. And if you are looking to see me on Instagram, you can find me at EmpathicFire Tarot over there. The link for the Instagram is down in the description box. And also, someone had contacted me recently asking me about donations. I don't go live often enough on YouTube because this person was like, how can I donate to your YouTube channel or via YouTube? And I was just like, well, I don't go live often enough for Super Chat, but you can follow the links down in the description for the PayPal or the Cash App. If any of you are interested in making a donation to the channel, feel free to utilize those links. And if you ever do send any money towards me for donation, just please label it as donation. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, why is this money here? And I want to accept it, but I can't accept it because I don't know what it's for. Like, I don't want to get in any trouble for taking money that I shouldn't take. So just wanted to point that out to everybody, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. I want to see the outcome for Sagittarius in September 2020. Outcome for Sagittarius in September 2020. Please show me. There it goes. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Man, these energies keep repeating. This is one of those months where thematically things just keep coming up. Anyway, let's flip what came face down for you. Okay. And there too. Say what? So many repeating cards. Again, thematically, you're the 9th sign in the zodiac, so you're the 9th sign I'm doing. So many repeated cards in all these readings over the past 3 days, something like that. Anyway, enough with the babble. Let's see what's going on. Please show me where Sagittarius is in September 2020. Sagittarius in September 2020, please show me. Okay, we got it. All right, Sag, here we go. Coming into September, you come in with the energy of the moon. Major arcana for Pisces. Some of you could be dealing with a Pisces, but you don't have to be. So you're not really sure what's going on, Sag. For yourself, for the situations or relationships you're in. A lot of emotional confusion. A lot of okay, because they're about to sort of kind of make me contradict myself. So what's happening here, there's a lot of emotional confusion or uncertainty here. However, I feel a lot of you feel intuitively guided in some type of way. I feel you're possibly exploring your intuition or trying to connect with your intuition or your higher selves or your guides, your personal Lord and Savior, whatever way you would connect with whatever you perceive to exist beyond this earthly plane, okay? I feel some of you are trying to reach out to that because Dorothy somehow perched on this moon is giving me this idea that some of you might feel, you have a particular guide. Maybe it's B. Arthur. Congratulations. She's probably really awesome. But I feel like you might have a particular emotional or spiritual connection towards a person, or well, I don't want to challenge it. So let's just say a person that you may or may not have known in this life, and this nudging, this guidance that you feel might be contributing to how you are, or why you're feeling uncertain. Ah, okay. So like if you're new to this whole spiritual woo-woo world, of tarot and psychics and mediums and numerology and Wiccan and Reiki and all these things, what the hell's a chakra? What are these different crystals mean? You might have so many questions, or maybe that's it. Maybe you feel pushed, or somehow again nudged towards exploring your own spirituality, exploring different ways to tap into your intuition, but you don't know which way is the quote unquote right way. Now, the answer to that question, I can tell you at least from my experiences, whatever calls to you. I know not that much about crystals. I use this one and that one. And this black one is a new addition, right? I've only recently started to do it. I wear these things here because they are aligned with my chakras and everything like that. But it's not really what I know best. The thing I know best is tarot. The thing I know second best is astrology. I have interest in runes. I have interest in Reiki. I have interest in all these other things. But what called to me the most when I started my spiritual journey, when I was figuring out what my intuition was trying to tell me after I basically had a long meditation session and one of my guides appeared to me, it was given to me. Focus on tarot and astrology, right? So you might be called to explore runes. You might be called to explore herbology or something to do with natural remedies or something like that. More stuff that I think would be aligned towards Wiccan, or Wicca, I should say, not Wiccan, but Wicca. Maybe that's what you're supposed to be doing. Regardless, there is some greater truth or clarity that you're seeking, that you feel you're meant to align with or understand. But at this point, you are like a babe in the woods. You have no compass. You've got no map. You might have a canteen of water and that's it. And so I feel as though there is something expansive, because I'm also drawn to the starry sky behind her in this card. There's so much out there that you don't know. And the deeper you go, the more you will reveal about yourself. But just to get it started, or to actually know which initial thing to explore, you're kind of like, I don't know. Again, my personal advice based on what I have experienced, what I have lived, is whatever calls to you the loudest. And for me, tarot was it. It called me like it knew, like it had known me for years. Hey Jay, come on over here and start, learning this. And it spoke to me because I could understand it. Iconography, I can get it. Archetypes and assigning them to not only the zodiac signs but the planets, I could get that. Runes are interesting to me, but it's a whole different set of lore that I would have to learn from the ground up. I don't have like a working knowledge of it, and I had a little bit of an understanding where I could easily connect the dots when I was learning tarot, and I still am connecting the dots, by the way. So Sagittarius, the emotional rapture, is that correct? I don't know why they want me to say that, but the emotional rapture, or maybe you feel enraptured, maybe you feel wrapped up in your emotions, maybe you feel at the whim of your emotions, maybe you feel overly emotional. And I keep saying emotions. The moon is more than emotions, by the way. But that is coming through heavily, that you are in some type of emotional storm, or it's like all that you see, all that you can experience is coming through your emotional body, whatever that means to you. Okay, so yes, okay, that makes sense. Yes, okay, I see what's all up here. Listen, friends, it's not just you. The collective is going through a bit of everything. I mean, if the day-to-day news and temperature of public spaces and whatever is an indication enough, trust me, in the readings I've been doing for September, everybody's going through it, and you're no different, it seems. So you've got this huge emotional void that you're exploring and or trying to fill, right? And in that exploration, or excuse me, as you begin this exploration, I think you feel very lost. But again, Dorothy being perched up on that moon like that, I think many of you, not all, or no, here we go. You all do, but some of you only can conceive of it, okay? You all, like any person, not just Sagittarius, any person on this earth, has a potential to divinely connect, okay? That's part of our incarnation here as freaking human beings, right? We all have the ability to connect to some divine place, entity, feeling, vibration, what have you, right? We all have that ability, but some of us don't conceive of it. For many of you, you do conceive of it. You know there's something out there for you, something or someone meant to guide you. You know you have a connection with the spiritual world or something esoteric or something mystical, but you don't know how. Again, you're like, what the hell are runes? What are crystals? Should I buy a pendulum? Should I get a Ouija board? Maybe I should get a tarot deck. You're thinking, should I? Calm down. And not to say like you're excited or like you're overly like about it, but find a place to or time and a place to calm yourself. For me, it worked through meditation, but again, meditation is not universal. We all don't practice meditation in the same way. So for some people, meditation is like zero sound, nothing, just silence, and that's how they meditate. Other people, they need something that's guided. They need soft music. Other people, you can find it here on YouTube. They do the tonal stuff, so they listen to tones at certain megahertz, and that allows them to meditate. You know what your girl does? I can meditate to like really loud music. Like I will blast music, and I will just be off somewhere else, and I'm just like in my zone, getting what I need to getting my downloads on. You know what I mean? So whatever way you think meditation or opening up to that space would help you, maybe you need hypnotism, maybe you need to get a little high, maybe you need to smoke a bowl or something like that. I don't know. But relax into that idea that maybe the ways that even I'm telling you to connect are not the ways that you will ultimately connect, okay? Another thing that some of you might want to get into or at least try, because I'm feeling some of you have that potential because the moon is your starting card. Some of you might be actually very potent dreamers, or you might have potent dreams. So you might want to look into ways to get yourself to become better at lucid dreaming, and then maybe that'll help you. Okay? So, what else is it? What else happens for Sagittarius in September? Please show me. Yes. You grow. Yes. What did I just tell you about? Telling you things or different ways to enlighten yourself or come into some type of understanding about something in ways that you did not understand or that you would not have conceived of on your own, or that you kind of have no expertise in or no experience in. Not even expertise, you have no experience in it, right? Now, the Hangman is here. This is secondary major for Pisces, so that's 2 times for Pisces. You might have a Pisces of significance. Like I said before about Dorothy hanging out on that moon down there, maybe one of your guides is a Pisces, like when they were incarnate, maybe they were under the zodiac sign of Pisces, or you might want to explore any Pisces placements in your chart. Regardless, this Hanged Man, it depicts someone being in a pretty uncomfortable position. You know, this character Stan from the show The Golden Girls, I'm sure he wasn't this type of performer. He wasn't a street performer or a contortionist or anything like that. So here we have a regular person, a regular guy, you, Sagittarius, male or female, doesn't matter what your gender is, who is suspended up on a tree by their ankle and left there for who knows how long. And the pose that this person has struck, you know, figure 4 with the legs, arms behind the back, and the glow around his head is like in the midst of this discomfort, he is beginning to realize something, awaken to something. He is becoming enlightened. Now that's not saying, after a little bit of discomfort, you're suddenly going to become like this master yogi or this mystic guru or something like that. No, I think, again, this is like super personal to you. Whatever speaks to you, whatever and however uncomfortable you are or will become, will serve you. This is very interesting. But again, I think a lot of you Sagittariuses, and it's kind of ironic because your ninth house, right? Ninth house is about higher learning. Ninth house is about philosophical understandings and kind of having that eye on the bigger picture, right? Trying to see from a wider perspective. So it is innately a part of your wheelhouse to do this work. Aquarius, or excuse me, see, I called you Aquarius, my bad. So some of you might be dealing with Aquarius. I meant to say Sagittarius, my bad. Sagittarius is a part of your wheelhouse, yeah? And so your struggle with it, I find to be interesting. So I think many of you might want to look at your own charts, or you might want to look at specific transits that are going on at this time. I'm not an astrologer, so I can't do that work for you, because, I'm still learning the ropes in many ways. But there might be a particular transit that's going on in your life at this moment, not just today, but like over, let's say, several months or years in your life, that has caused you to kind of have this desire for a bigger understanding of your life or your purpose, your role in this world, your role in this arena or dimension, whatever you're thinking of, right? And how that can trickle down to your everyday life. Why am I living in Milwaukee? I don't feel I belong here. And you've grown up in Milwaukee or wherever the hell you're from, And as much as you don't have any ill will towards your neighborhood, your community, your family, or anything like that, I feel some of you feel I don't belong here in this capacity. And you're striving to understand your position, understand who you're meant to be or what you're meant to experience or how you're meant to utilize your skills, your natural abilities. Do I have natural abilities? Going back to the moon, if I do, what are they? Again, speaking most specifically towards something related to this spiritual journey of yours. Maybe some of you are looking for to understand what your practical skills are, and you could be feeling similar to that. Well, people tell me I'm naturally talented in this, but I have never really connected with that work, or I don't know how to go about doing that work. So some of you might be excellent communicators, right? You might be told all the time, oh, you're so funny, you should be a stand-up comedian. And you've never dreamed of standing on a stage. Maybe some of you have incredible stage fright, but you think about it. Is there a way that I can use my natural sense of humor, my wit, my charm, and not go the route of a stand-up comedian? Or can I get there without going that traditional route, which from what I understand a stand-up comedian normally does is you cut your teeth in like doing like small stand-up gigs, and you make a name for yourself, and you really like go through a school of hard knocks, really. But then again, that's more traditional, right? And Sagittarius, you're not known to be 100% on board with tradition. In fact, you question tradition. You question the conventions of things. You're like one of the signs that begins to do that. Aquarius takes it like over the top, and I did mention them a minute ago. So again, you might have an overlapping between Aquarius or some connection with Aquarius or Pisces. I haven't done their reading yet, so I don't know what their reading consists of. But anyway, so you're one of the signs that begins to question, well, why do we do it this way? Or what is the reason for this to be, the tradition of what a stand-up comedian or how a stand-up comedian finds success in their life? Who's to say a stand-up comedian can't find success by, writing a book first, or, cutting their teeth by just being a host on a podcast, something like that. You know what I mean? So, and if you look at a lot of modern comedians that are coming up, they don't always come in that route of playing small nightclubs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much you care about stand-up comedians. I don't care about them a lot. I just happen to know a lot about them, or at least I've seen documentaries and I watch specials and stuff like that. So that's what I sense is going on here. You have a natural something in you that you're trying to connect. Like I said, we all have the ability to connect divinely to our higher purpose, to our higher calling, to higher sources, guides, whatever you want, it's all out there. Okay? And I don't know what you believe in or don't believe in, but everything is connected in this world and beyond. Okay? All you got to do is find the right number or the right patchwork. Sometimes it's like trying to find like the right chord or just like, trying to fit the right peg in the right hole. Once you find that, you're in. So you're trying to find it. I commend you. That's very important. Now, what else happens? Okay, yeah. You feel so inadequate. That has been coming up as well. The theme of inadequacy, or this feeling of being not good enough or not prepared, or just like, it's not me, or I can't fight this, or whatever. Tons of signs have been going through this. Again, you're the 9th sign I'm doing out of 12. So almost everybody before you has had something like this going on, and I feel you're no different. Page of Cups in reverse. Show you this upright so you can get used to it. So look at how optimistic and delighted Rose looks. Oh, come on. She just looks so happy, standing there with her cup, raising it up like, oh my God, look at me. I've got this cup and this fish on the beach. That's something Rose would be into too. But again, you have it in the reverse. So where I think some of you might wish you were optimistic, or feel like optimism is a part of this. I don't know. There's something about not being optimistic, not being hopeful, not being so, maybe you're skeptical. There you go. That's how we can read that. You might be skeptical of yourself. Again, who am I to want to be XYZ? Who am I to question how to do this or blah, blah, blah? Isn't it crazy that I'm thinking that I have some connection to some divine source or some divine person or guide or angel or whatever? Like, come on, that's a bunch of hooey. Or some of you could be discouraged because of your previous experiences. That is also a part of Sagittarius energy. Like I said, you question tradition, you question conventions, and that could sound like I'm saying you're questioning things of a more traditional religious leaning. You could be questioning spirituality, period. I don't know about you, but it's quite a trend. This work that I do, not me specifically, but the work of tarot, can be quite trendy. The work or the work of an astrologist or the aspect of astrology is kind of trendy. Tons of memes. I use them sometimes to drum up or to signal like certain readings I'm going to do. There's tons of memes that, a Sagittarius win, or, and it's some type of, barb or shot at what a Sagittarius is supposed to be, right? So some of you have skepticism about your own spiritual journey. I wouldn't worry about that, or at least I would, now that I've pointed it out to you, now that I, in some sense, maybe have affirmed or highlighted something that maybe you hadn't expressed to anyone else, or maybe you didn't realize you were doing, I wouldn't worry about it, because you have the Moon and the Hangman preceding this Page of Cups. I feel, the skepticism, again, it's natural for you as an explorer, 9th house, Jupiter, explorative, expansive, thinking and then rethinking or reconsidering, I should say, or, understanding this and then moving on to the next subject. I can understand how you wouldn't be sold on the idea that there is a particular answer. And I'm not trying to sell you that, by the way. I'm not trying to tell you that, because I don't believe that myself. There isn't one answer to whatever the hell any of us are looking for. There's a multitude of answers, and they're mostly all correct. But I'm not going to theorize about what I believe. I would just agree with you that there isn't one set way to go about this work. There isn't one set way to explore these aspects of yourself. And so your skepticism or for some of you, your feeling of inadequacy is kind of understood. It makes sense. I wouldn't worry about it. This is a page versus 2 major arcanas that we've talked about previous to this moment. So I would say work with this energy. I wouldn't say dismiss it. I wouldn't say just, don't listen to that little voice in your head that says, Sag, this is a bunch of bullshit. Who cares? Whatever this Page of Cups would say. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. I got this like huge feeling of vulnerability. Oh, okay, got you. So this is a page, right? Pages represent or can often represent children, right? I don't think that if you do have children, they might factor in here in some type of way. Maybe because you're a parent, you might have a lot of responsibilities and obligations to your children, and to explore these aspects of yourself, you might feel you're taking away time, energy, and effort, and attention and love and affection that is meant for your children. You might feel you're like not ignoring them, but like they need you, and in their need, you kind of have to put yourself on the back burner. That might be true for some of you. What I really felt more than that was your own childhood or your own inner child. Now, I'm not a psychologist, because I think we kind of now are kind of traipsing over into that world of psychology and psychiatry and mental and behavioral health, or mental and emotional behavioral health, something like that, whatever. You know what I mean? And I feel like some of you have a wounding there, or a sensitivity there. There might be something that happened to you when you were a kid. And this is water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This is not you, but maybe you are naturally very sensitive, or you were more sensitive when you were, there it is. Maybe some of you had this sensitivity, this hyper awareness, or excuse me, this hypersensitivity in you, and you knew it since you were a kid, but you have since forgotten it. So, okay, that's interesting. Now, I'm not trying to call specifically somebody's experience, but like, just to, sort of be dramatic with it. Some of you maybe had like a sixth sense kind of thing, like the movie Sixth Sense, like you talk to dead people, and you did when you were a kid, but you didn't embrace those powers, or you didn't understand them, and so you were afraid of them, and therefore you have let your skill, it is a skill, right? To a certain extent, it is a skill. You let it die. You haven't interacted with it. And now you feel called to go back to that. And you might be a little scared to do it. So you might have, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, Sixth Sense. It doesn't have to be you talk to dead people. But like me, I'm a precog. And I didn't know that until I was like 20 something. But I'm a precog, meaning I have precognition. I can see things happen. And then it'll be weeks, months, years later, and the thing happens, and I'm like, oh, I already knew this was gonna happen. Like I see it clear as day that it was going to be this way. You know what I mean? And that happens in small ways. Like it happens. Like I also have like a lot of I have a lot of precognitions when I'm dreaming. I have a lot of I'm telling you guys so much of my life. Interesting. I have precognition when I'm dreaming. I have precognition when I'm awake. I have waking deja vu and all this other kind of stuff. And these things happen all the time. Like I have legit been in the middle of a conversation. I'm like, so-and-so's about to walk in the door, or so-and-so's about to call. And it happens. I'm like, okay, yeah. And people are like, why? What? And I'm like, yeah, it just happens. And it's different, whatever. So I didn't embrace that, realize that, acknowledge that until I was in my 20s, right? And even now, I'm kind of still like, am I really? See, look, I just told you I am. And then I'm also like, but am I really? I know I am. But it's just, it might be like weird to say that or acknowledge that. So maybe that's what's going on here. You don't want to or really know how to acknowledge what skills or talents or abilities that you have. And I don't know how to tell you to get to that point, or advise you to get to that point if you want to. Some of you might not want to. Some of you might literally commune with the dead or see guides. Because that's the other thing. I have guides. I don't see them. Not in the sense of I see them in this physical space. I see them in like, because I talk about TV and movies a lot. I'm telling you guys so much about myself. This is very interesting. I don't know why. I feel like I'm confessing to you because I don't talk about myself this much. And I don't mean to. This is not normally what I do in a reading, in case this is the first time you're seeing me. But my guides, I see them like performers. Like I see them like they're on TV, and I keep making a box. Like I see them on TV, or I see them in plays, and I see them in movies, and they emulate or they communicate to me either through movies that I've seen, or they place themselves in there. And they are these archetypal things, these very like, standard cardboard cutouts of like what it looks like to like a mother figure. So I'll see a woman in an apron, like old school mother, like apron in the kitchen, like 1940s type of thing. That resonates to me, so I know that I have a guide who represents that to me, a mother figure. My mother is alive. My grandmother is not, but anyway. So I don't see people in my physical space. It's in my mind. I can sense them. They touch me. They do all kinds of things, crick in my neck and all crazy shit, right? Other people can hear their guides. They can hear voices. I don't hear voices. I hear them through song, I hear them through speech, like I hear them with like dialogue, but I don't hear actual voices that aren't in my own voice or voices of like characters or people in a movie or something like that. Does that make sense? So you are a little weary of all of this. Everything that I'm saying about myself, maybe you're fascinated by it in terms of how I'm expressing it, but as far as you experiencing it for yourself, you might be like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I really want to get into that. I think you should. Like I said, I think this page is hearkening back or recalling back to when you were younger, or there's something about maybe when you were a kid you were discouraged, teased, made fun of. Maybe you were pretty confident and you said to your parents or you said to your friends, I see dead people. I'm kidding, of course. And people were like, Sagittarius, you're crazy. That's nuts. Shut up. That's stupid. That doesn't exist. That's not real. And you were discouraged. And therefore you were kind of like, I guess I don't see dead people. When actually you do. And that's what your talent is. Your natural ability is. Interesting. What else happens here? So, okay. Now, I'm just gonna jump straight into this. The devil. So this has been coming up. Okay. This is like very on its face, like on the nose, like this portrayal of evil. Now, I don't talk about the devil and really ever mention the word evil, but what did I just say? When some of you were kids, you were told that's not true, it's not real. Some of you were told whatever you felt naturally drawn to do, to say, and the experiences that you were having, you were told that's the devil's work. Watching tarot or listening to horoscopes or reading horoscopes, the devil's work, right? Because what did I say earlier about your association with the ninth house? Questioning tradition, questioning convention. Why are these beliefs that we as a society, as a family, as a community, why do we hold these beliefs? Where do they come from? Why and how are they valid? You questioning all of that, some of you was essentially whipped out of you. Hopefully not physically, but in some cases maybe. It was whipped out of you. You were discouraged and physically reprimanded for thinking anything different. That's not okay. I'm not here condoning that, but I know that's a reality of many people. So the devil doesn't usually mean that, but because the name came out and it's such a red and she's got the cartoon horns or whatever, and it's like, it's this tempting image, right? And that's often how the devil or, the greatest, entity of evil is presented in many people's religious beliefs, is that it's this temptation. It tells you it's the right thing. It tells you it's the good thing when really it's the bad thing. It dresses itself up to be, the devil dresses himself or whatever, dresses up to be something that you want and something that's okay and something that is permissible when really you're not supposed to engage. You're supposed to abstain from this and resist this, right? So many of you are having that type of crisis. Maybe crisis is too heavy a word, but it feels like that. It feels like a big and because you've got the moon and the hangman before, right? These are very influential cards. These are all major arcana. The moon, hangman, and the devil. All major arcana. So you are being guided. I already told you that with the moon. You're being guided to open up to this. But what you were again, with this being the Devil card, Major Arcana for Capricorn. Capricorn is related to father dynamics, and it relates to the 10th house. 10th house is not about anything esoteric. The 10th house and Capricorn and the father dynamic, what is real? What is discernible? What can we do in the physical world that will show result? So there's like a dismissing of anything supernatural with the Devil energy, right? And so many of you grew up that way. Those things are not real. It's not true. Don't even think about it. Don't even try to question the way you're being raised or the beliefs that you've come up with. Yeah. Well, not deeper than that. Another way that, or other ways that we can interpret the Devil card. I feel some of you might be tempted to just like let this go. And you can, it's your choice. But you're watching tarot on YouTube. I would assume that means you're not like you truly aren't letting it go. You're considering it, right? And I feel you're tempted to just release all of this because it's so weird or it's so new or you're perplexed, you're confused, you're not certain yet. And that doubt, that fear, that inadequacy, like we talked about with the Page of Cups, and or possibly responsibilities that you have with the Page of Cups that you don't want to turn your back on. I feel some of you are like, I don't have the ability to get to some truth. I don't have the ability, the capability, the resources, the time, the effort, the focus to really go the distance here. I give up is kind of what this feels like. I give up. And that is the trick of the Devil. To go back into the biblical religious understandings of the Devil is that he tricks you, right? He tells you one thing and that's not the thing. You know, he convinces you that this is false when actually it's true. It's always flipped, right? And Devil, what? He represents the underworld. The underworld is, in some people's estimations, in some traditions, it is the mirror of Earth, but in a hellscape, right? So everything that exists up here exists down there. Lakes of water above, lakes of fire down below, right? People and humans walk the streets up here. Demons populate the world down there, right? So it's a flipped concept or perception. It's trickery. So some of you are tempted to shelve the spiritual side of your life. Totally annex it, totally ignore it, and only live in the physical, because that's the other thing about the Devil, physical pleasure. What do we have here? For those who are familiar, you know what Blanche is. She's all about the physical pleasure from the Golden Girls. But if you don't know her, she is, out of the four ladies, the sex pot, the one who's like the most hot to trot, okay? And right. And she's holding on to that piece of cheesecake. Cheesecake it's not a beneficial part of your diet. It's an indulgent food, cheesecake. So some of you want to completely forget about this pull, this nudge that keeps coming to you, and just live in the 3D world, live in this material experience. Or you're dealing with people or a person that represent this to you. You might be around people, like, I'm not bagging on anybody. I'm not trying to drag anybody here, but let's say you're questioning theological pursuits or philosophical pursuits, and many of your friends or your closest confidants are atheists. No shade. I respect everybody's belief. Everybody's. But let's say you hang around a bunch of atheists and you're starting to think, well, maybe there is a God, or maybe there is some type of creation or single source of creation in our universe, or whatever you're considering. You might have friends around you who are just like, why are you even questioning that? I thought we understood each other. There is no God. And they might try to convince you. Or, like I said earlier, you questioning your religion or your religious background, and you take it to your parents or your cousins or whoever you grew up around, and you question your pastor, and your pastor is just like, well, the good book says, and you're like, I don't know. So there's this outside entity as well that's trying to, what I would assume, keep you from your personal truth. Personal truth is more important than any truth in my estimation, but I don't want to influence you anymore. I want everybody, not just Sagittarius, who watches my channel. You make up your own mind about things. But I feel here that this devil energy, you feel bound or pulled back. Because in the traditional the traditional artwork of the devil, you'll see people chained, literally chained to the devil or to his pedestal or whatever it is. They can't go anywhere. So I feel like there's this restrictive thing that some of you are kind of like, well, maybe I should just go ahead and stay here. That's your choice. You may do so. However, based on what I see here, I don't know. I don't know that okay, here. It's natural, Sagittarius, to struggle with this. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's natural to struggle with this. How it shakes out for you, how you proceed, that is all your choice. That is all your path. That is all what you're meant to do. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. Now, yes. So, 5 of Cups. Now, okay. Sagittarius. I recently, it was your mid-August, right? Mid-August? I think it was the last reading I did for you guys. I mentioned loss. I was talking very, very seriously about a particular loss of a person or of the relationship with a person, the actual physical loss of a person, or something like that. And you know, I don't remember everything I said in that reading, but I know that came up. And I feel as soon as I picked this card up, that is carrying over here. This is still affecting some of you. For those where you haven't lost anyone and you kind of don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or that didn't like just kind of thump on your chest or like, you know, kind of hit you in the side of your head or something like that. If you had no connection to what I was just talking about, I don't know that this will matter to you. But for those where it did, you might want to go back and look at that mid-August reading. Anyway, there's this feeling here with the 5 of Cups, lamenting, as we see Roses crying over what is gone or what can no longer be, or what has transpired. It doesn't have to be the loss of a person or any type of loss per se, but it's just this, like I said, what has transpired. Maybe you getting to this point in your life and still having these questions or this feeling of uncertainty. Like I said earlier with the Page of Cups in reverse, possibly feelings of inadequacy, or remembering back to your childhood and the ways in which you were dissuaded or criticized or meant to feel, or led to feel as if you were strange or if you were doing something wrong. You could just be remembering that, and that could make you, you know, kind of feel like this. Oh my God, you know, I'm still affected by, you know, when I was bullied or when I was told I was, you know, dancing with the devil or whatever the hell you were told when you were growing up. It's still affecting you. And this 5 of Cups is a challenge. 5s are challenges in the tarot. So it's not going to be an easy fix, but what I would, thank you. I was like, why am I saying this? Look what it comes above. It comes above the Hanged Man. This is possibly, let me tell you, again, I'm sharing so much about my personal life with you guys, and I'm not even sharing that much. The pain you feel here is going to help you awaken. It's going to help you become enlightened. Why do I say that? I would say, yes, they're all connected because they helped my spiritual awakening. But there were 3 events or 3 days in my recent history that really skyrocketed me in a painful way towards my enlightenment. I had something happen to me in October 2016. I'm not going to give detail because it's not the time or the place. And then, before that, before that, I had my grandmother die. So that's the first one. And then I had this day in October 2016. Terrible, terrible day. And actually it was a terrible day that turned into like a terrible, like 2.5 years. Anyway, so I had these two things. And then I had the day that I kind of embraced because I was so low, similar to what you might be experiencing now, Sagittarius. I was so low and desperate for some type of answer, some type of clarity, something to help me make sense of what was going on. And I did this thing, I did a whole thing, and I got some answer. But man, didn't I feel like that in the middle of seeking, in the middle of trying to understand. I felt like shit. I hated my life. I hated everything that I had experienced. I hated that I was in pain. Why do I have to feel this way? Why am I remembering things not only of the recent past, much like I was telling you here with the Page of Cups. I was remembering things from my childhood. I was like, what? I haven't thought about that in years. I thought I was over this. Apparently not. And all that pain, that loss that I was feeling, that inability for me to reconcile what exactly was happening to me or why it was happening to me, eventually led to my enlightenment. I feel something is happening very similar to you guys. So things from your past, the way you were brought up, the criticism that you received, maybe the criticism or the pushback or the misunderstanding or the feeling not a part of a group right now. Because I felt that starting with your moon energy. You're living a life, you're communing or interacting with people, but I don't know that you necessarily feel a part of that. The moon is very deep and dark and it's insular and it's very personal, and a lot of things exist in the depths of what the moon card represents. Deep water, deep, in this case, deep space, with the stars behind her, right? And how far, what is a star? A star is another galaxy. And we can't get to any stars. We can only get to other planets in our universe, in our galaxy. We can't go to any other stars. Physically, humans cannot, right? So when we look at the stars, look how many are out there. Wow. And we can't get to any of them? So similar here, all the stars, all the nuances and the depths of your emotions, you can't get to it. But what did I tell you? You have someone or something calling you, nudging you, encouraging you to make the connection, because when you have divine connection, you can. But there's a perception in this reality that says you can't. And you're reconciling with that. You're dealing with that with the Five of Cups. And if fives are challenges, right? So fives are moments where we are put to the test, yeah? And we're encouraged or have a moment to persevere, to overcome. It sucks. It's not a pleasant experience, but it's possible to transcend it. So I don't want you to get too hung up there. And I don't think you will. So we've got Rose crying here, and now we see Rose walking away here. Eight of Cups. Now, some of you might have to walk away from something, from someone, from a situation, a circumstance, a condition, a conditioning of yours, a behavioral or self-belief of your own. But whatever you walk away from, it's emotionally dissatisfactory. And it has gotten you to where you are. It has served its purpose. Whatever you walk away from, a belief system, your own self-doubt, your own fears, a relationship, an entanglement, a group of people, like I said, maybe, your friends who don't believe in God are no longer on your vibe. You no longer are on the same frequency. And as such, why wouldn't you walk away? Or why wouldn't it be permissible? Why wouldn't it be understood or reasonable for you to do this? Some of you will be questioning this as it happens. That's perfectly natural. But what did I just say? You're on different frequencies. Think of it that way. If you were trying to communicate with someone through a short range radio, you got to be on the same frequency. You got to be on the same channels. You can't be trying to talk to someone and share coordinates or, get on a damn ham radio or whatever the hell truckers use these days. You can't talk to somebody if you're not on the same frequency. If they can't receive the message or you can't receive theirs, you're not going to be you're not going to communicate well. So, I'm saying it very flippantly or easily because like I said, I've kind of walked a path similar to this already. I continue to walk that path, by the way. So I get it. But if you're just starting this, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But also consider what happens when you leave the 8 of Cups. You move towards the 9 and the 10. You're moving towards the 9 and the 10. Wish fulfillment, dreams coming true. 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. 10 of Cups, dreams coming true. You want that that bigger, more complete sense of self, which we talked about earlier with the bottom row, right? You want that bigger understanding of who you are, why you are, what you are, and your purpose in this whole grand scheme of things. Or you just want to be emotionally calm, or not calm, contented. Thank you. Because again, the moon can just speak to emotional, excuse me. Sorry. The moon can speak to emotional contentment and needing it, or seeking it, or feeling, like I said earlier, like adrift, like lost at sea. And your 8 of Cups is no longer interested in being lost at sea. I want to find ground. I want to find land. 1 second, Sagittarius, 1 second. Okay, Sag, sorry about that. So yeah, what was I saying? The moon? Yeah, the moon is like those emotional, voids that many of us encounter in our lives. The moon has an intuitive knowledge that there's something out there or something that can fill those spaces, but it's not clear. It's not clear cut. And the 8 of Cups is your exploration of, well, I got to go find what's going to fill these emotional voids. I think if you truly want it, you can have it. Some of you are still on the fence. Some of you are still skeptical for very legit reasons, very valid reasons. Like we discussed before, Page of Cups reversed and the Devil and the 5 of Cups to a certain extent. All of that equals somebody who, for lack of a better word, maybe lacks the confidence or the belief in themselves. Something like that. So I think you'll be okay. Despite what I see coming out here in the in the outcome, I still think you'll be okay. Strength in reverse. Major arcana for Leo. Some of you could be dealing with a Leo, but you don't have to be. Look at good old Sophia. Dorothy is my favorite character, but Sophia is a very close second. Anyway, please focus, for God's sakes. Yeah, there we go. So strength, but in reverse. So I think for now, a lot of you are just going to put the brakes on this. You're not really ready, or you don't actually fully understand all that I've talked about or all that you've seen here. Maybe you haven't experienced. Remember how I said in my life, and it doesn't have to be this. I'm not saying wait for 3 things, but remember I told you, now that I'm years after the beginning of this spiritual journey, I could clock it back to 3 pivotal points that helped me, like I said, skyrocketed me into this position of feeling so distraught, so lost. I had no answers and I needed them so desperately. 3 things together over a period of years. So maybe that's sort of what's going on and why this strength card has come in reverse. Maybe it's bad. I'm not hoping this, I'm not wishing this for you, but maybe things have to get even worse before they can get better. Again, I don't wish that for you, but as from what I understand and what I am seeing in my own development and the development of friends and family, sometimes that's the way. That's the way the universe works. That's the way this whole freaking thing that we're all collectively experiencing works. And again, if you want to look at the global, look at the world outside your door. Not saying that it has to be this. It doesn't always have to work this way, but it often does. Things have to get worse before they get better. And the strength in reverse could signal that. So you might have to, for lack of a better word, at this very moment, I'm very sorry to say, you might have to suffer more. And I'm not saying this is, I'm not over here applauding. I'm not saying this is what you deserve. This is just what the path requires. This is just the journey that you're on. Yeah. But that's not for everybody. So please also don't get, too excited or too downtrodden because of that. Beyond that, things getting worse before they get better. I also just feel like your heart's not in it right now. When we talk about the strength card, we can talk about, facing diversity, overcoming this energy of perseverance. And to do any of that, you've got to have the heart. You've got to have the dedication. You have to have the willpower to do so. And some of you don't have it. And some readers, I don't usually, but I'm going to point this out because when they say it, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. The strength card and the devil actually, in some readers' estimations, are very well related. Because the strength card is about taming a beast, right? This little old lady standing next to this fearsome, ferocious lion, and she looks pretty calm and collected, right? That is a big to-do, to face something that you should naturally be afraid of and to conquer it or work alongside it. That is the work of, again, conquering fear, facing adversity, which I told you earlier with the devil. The devil's a trickster. The devil would have you convinced, if it was, in control of these things, it would have you convinced you could never work with a lion. You should always fear the lion. The lion will always eat you. There's no working with them. But as we've all seen, because we've all seen Tiger King at this point, you can, in some capacity, work pretty good with lions, right? I'm trying to be a little facetious here, but I hope you get what I mean. So some of you, because this devil showed up and because you've got people in your ear or historically you've been conditioned and convinced that, you're not on this journey, on this trajectory, you might feed into that, or you might accept that and not go the opposite way, which is to stand up against that trickster and say, you know what, I'm actually not gonna feed into that bullshit, and I'm gonna find out for myself. I'm going to stand alongside the lion on my own and figure this out. Yeah? So some of you will do that work, despite it coming in reverse. Just this reading or other things that you're doing will confirm that to you, that you do have you have the power. Shout out to He-Man, right? Others of you, you're not going to go that way. It's your life. It's your decision. You do what you wish, of course. But I would hope most of you, or a good portion of you at least, would find what you're looking for. Explore it. It sucks. It's hard work. It's not pleasant. It is uncomfortable. It's painful. You feel inadequate. And you might have to walk away from things that, for the most part, at some point, going back here quickly, the Eight of Cups is talking about now it's emotionally dissatisfactory, and that's strange because at some point it was satisfactory. So that's a nuance with the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about, at this point now, it has become dissatisfactory. At a previous point, over several years or months or whatever it was okay. Those friends you had, the beliefs you had, the ways you were functioning in your own life, it was cool. All of a sudden now, it's not cool. So it sucks to walk away from that because it's new. I was okay with this yesterday. Now I'm not okay with it. Hanging out with these people who are no longer on my frequency, I'm uncomfortable. I don't feel fulfilled here. And you might feel like, like you're betraying somebody. That, you know, whatever. Anyway, overall energy, 5 of Pentacles. So here we go again with a challenge. 5 of Pentacles, challenges. What are you going to do? How are you going to proceed? What will you do in order to combat this feeling or deal with this outlook, deal with this emotion or this concept of self, the way you're perceiving yourself or what you're experiencing? Since this is Pentacles, this is probably what you're living in. Now, this is often a card associated with poverty, so I'm not saying that you guys are poor or that you're living in squalor. You could be. And no shade to you. That's, you know, Godspeed. I wish you the best. It's more like you believe you're poor. You believe you will never have money. You believe you'll never have a leg to stand on. You believe in your own insecurity. That's a problem, right? Or beyond it being a problem, that's kind of, from everything we talked about from a spiritual standpoint, that's silly. The universe is abundant. Therefore, you are abundant. You're a part of the universe. You're a child of the universe, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, okay? You're a part of it. You came from it. Therefore, if you come from abundance, you are abundance, right? And that takes a lot of work to get to that point, because what does your reality say? When you look at your bank account and you're down to $20 and the rent is due tomorrow and Jay said you were abundant, well, that bitch is a lie. Am I? I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. Just because you start to think you're abundant, tomorrow you're going to come into a bunch of money, or you're not going to face any troubles or any feelings of inadequacy or insecurity. No. It takes work. And what were we talking about this entire reading? Spiritual work, spiritual journey, spiritual uptick, whatever journey you're on, whatever you're exploring or considering. That's what it takes. Now, to speak directly to the traditional interpretation of this card, 5 of Pentacles, we see our good girl Blanche out here, you know, bandaged hand, you know, some type of overcoat, looking sad. But what is she next to? That painted glass, that stained glass. She's next to a cathedral. She's next to a place of refuge, of rest, of good care. Now, some of you are like, well, wait, if she's next to a cathedral or a church, does that mean I need to go back to the church? Maybe. But more to the point, you're very close to a breakthrough is what this feels like, more than anything. If you want to go and explore religion and go back to what you know and what you're comfortable with, you may do so. But I actually feel this is more of a breakthrough, because how can I say it? It's a breakthrough. What does that mean? Oh, okay. It's basically, and I don't mean to laugh, it's not something to laugh at. In this depiction, this person, and I'm not saying this is your experience, Sagittarius, but this person is used to living on the streets. That's what they're used to. That's what they're conditioned to believe in. I live on the streets. I don't have a home. Yeah? The breakthrough is to realize, oh no, a home is out there for me and I will find it and it will be mine. You know what I mean? Again, going back to this idea of abundance. I am from abundance, therefore I possess it. I was created from an abundant source, therefore I am abundance. Or I have the ability to possess, to work with, or create abundance. To align with it. Even though I've been poor my whole life. Right? There's a lot in there that is worth dissecting or exploring. I could go on and on and on and on, and I would be best to have a conversation with a person to actually explore that. But anyway, I hope that made sense to you. It's a little tricky, because I think for some of you, you're like, well, wait, what did that actually mean? You'll explore it further. That would be my advice. Explore it further. And even just look up what the 5 of Pentacles means. Maybe you don't know the meaning of that card. Maybe there's other interpretations that you've not read or seen or heard of before. So Google it. Read about it. Listen to other readers talk about the 5 of Pentacles. See what they say. Okay? Sagittarius. Wow. that is your reading for September. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. Hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let other people know that you like watching my stuff. That would be amazing. Please, please, please do that. Feel free to share the video. Let other people know you like watching my stuff. And subscribe to the channel, my friends, if you have not subscribed already, so that you can see when I upload and we can become best friends. Sag, I'll be back in about 2 weeks to do the mid-September readings. Again, if you need anything from me, it's in the description box as far as getting a personal with me or to do a donation. It's all down below, okay? Sag, I thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.